Hi guys, today's lecture about surgical anatomy of scalp. What is scalp? Scalp is covering of the skull is called scalp. The scalp having 5 layer, mnemonic also same, but you don't have to remember the mnemonic. It's very fundamental. Okay. Now, the skin of scalp is having epidermis and dermis. So epidermis having more sebaceous gland, so that it is the most common site of sebaceous cyst, because in the body most abundant sebaceous gland found in the head. So it is most common site of the sebaceous gland. MCQ. This is having epidermis having 4 layer. You can say this is stratum vagally. Okay, this is basement cells. Stratum vagally, then stratum spinosum, then stratum granulosum, then stratum lucidum, and stratum corneum. Okay, this stratum lucidum is absent most of the body except sole and palm. Thick skin having stratum lucidum, rest of the body of the skin don't have this stratum lucidum. So this is stratum vagally, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum, and stratum corneum. So only 4 layer of epidermis is there. Stratum lucidum is absent in the scalp or rest of the body except sole and palm. And dermis having 2 layer. One is papillary dermis and second one is reticular dermis. Above layer is just below the stratum vagally is papillary dermis, and below papillary there is reticular dermis. This papillary dermis is also fingerprinting layer. Whatever we are doing on fingerprinting on mobile and everything, that is called fingerprinting layer. So this is papillary dermis is also called fingerprinting layer. And this reticular dermis where tattoos are commonly done, so this is tattoo layer. Okay, so that whatever below the stratum vagally is not going to change because it's below the level of regeneration. So that's why tattoo are done in the reticular dermis. Now second layer of scalp is called connective tissue layer. It is fibrofatty layer mostly made by collagen 4 bundles, and its subcutaneous blood vessel is found. That's why there is severe bleeding whatever you are doing any flap in the scalp. That's why it's called severe bleeding, and it is called bleeding layer also. So it is highly vascular layer of scalp. The third layer is aponeurosis. Okay, all muscles like temporalis, frontal belly, that is occipitofrontalis single muscle from occipital protuberance to the glabella. So it is whole muscles. The occipitofrontalis is covered by this aponeurosis, and this connecting between this occipital part and frontalis part of the occipitofrontalis is called galea aponeurotica. So galea aponeurotica, frontalis, occipitalis, and temporal all covered by this aponeurosis layer. Fourth layer is loose areal tissue. This is the site of diploic emissary vein, mustard emissary vein, whatever in ENT it is, we are doing mastodectomy or surgery, we sometimes face bleeding from this vein. So this is in the loose areal tissue, and diploic vein also found in the this loose areal tissue. But this layer is very important, so that I am telling some applied anatomy of loose areal tissue. And a fourth layer of this one is cephalohydrocele. Any trauma of this layer, because it's communicating through vein to the CNS, it may lead to CSF leak into this loose layer. So this is called cephalohydrocele. Caput succedaneum, pressure hematoma during delivery, is also common site of this loose areal tissue. Is common site for this hematoma during delivery of child is called caput succedaneum. This is caput succedaneum. It is also called dangerous layer of skull because all emissary vein is connecting to the subdural space through emissary vein. So any infection or traumatic infection or any surgical procedure doing in this layer can go into intracranially. That's why it's called dangerous layer. Sometimes it's also act safety valve hematoma because any intracranial hemorrhage or subdural or extradural hematoma can relieve by this emissary vein or diploic vein connection. So the congestion of brain will be relieved. So sometimes it's also helpful. That's why it's called safety valve hematoma. So this is applied anatomy of fourth layer of loose areolar tissue. Now fifth layer is pericranium. It's also called periosteum. It is actually periosteum of the skull bones below the scalp. So here is two applied hematoma. One is cephalohematoma. It is also suture hematoma because any hematoma below the pericranium, it not going to spread beyond your suture line. Whatever if hematoma of occipital bone is not going to spread to temporal or frontal or parietal region. But this caput succedaneum, it is also one type of hematoma. It can spread beyond the suture because it is sutureless hematoma. It is situated in the loose areolar tissue, so there is no foundation. So it is caput succedaneum, also called sutureless hematoma, and this is suture full hematoma because it's not going to spread. It is suture hematoma. It not going to spread individual bone. And cephalohydrocele because it can occur in the loose areolar tissue as well as pericranial periosteum. So this is all about layers of the scalp, that is skin, connective tissue layer, aponeurosis, loose areolar tissue, pericranium. These are 5 layers of scalp. Now nerve supply. Nerve supply is very simple. The sensory supply by the trigeminal nerve C2 and C3. So trigeminal branches are in front of auricle are supratrochlear, supraorbital, zygomaticotemporal, and auriculotemporal. Behind the auricle is greater auricular, lesser occipital nerve, greater auricular, and third occipital nerve. These are the branches of C2 and C3. These are sensory branches. And motor branches are mainly facial nerve. So in front of the pinna is temporal branch and behind the pinna is postauricular branch of facial nerve. This is motor supply all muscle of the facial expression. Now arterial supply mainly intracranial artery or internal carotid artery or internal carotid artery. So internal carotid artery by ophthalmic there are two branches, supraorbital and supratrochlear. And external carotid supply the occipital artery, postauricular artery, and temporal artery are in here is maxillary artery. These are the branches of external occipital, postauricular, superficial temporal artery, internal maxillary artery. These supply the scalp in external branches. And internal branch by ophthalmic there are two branches only, supratrochlear artery and supraorbital arteries. Now venous drainage. Venous drainage I want to tell you different diagram. The supratrochlear the vein, facial vein, supratrochlear and supraorbital and supratrochlear vein drain into the facial vein. And these superficial temporal vein along the superficial temporal artery and maxillary vein along the internal maxillary artery drain into the retromandibular vein. Here retromandibular vein having two branches. One is posterior division and anterior division. So anterior division of retromandibular vein which made by the superficial temporal vein and maxillary vein divided into two, anterior division and posterior division. Anterior division with facial vein form the common facial vein which ultimately drain into the internal jugular vein. Like this posterior auricular vein with posterior division of this retromandibular vein combined form the external jugular vein. Okay, this posterior auricular vein and this posterior division of retromandibular vein form the external jugular vein. So this is very common MCQs can be asked in the exam. Now last vein is along the occipital artery which drain into external carotid, but this occipital vein not going to drain in the IJV or EJV. This occipital vein drain into the vertebral vein in the foramen magnum. So this is the vertebral vein which drain separately. Occipital vein drain into vertebral vein. This is separate drainage. So this is venous drainage of skull. Now lymphatic drainage is pre-auricular lymph nodes in front of the auricle and behind or just below these parotid nodes or occipital mustard nodes. These are ultimately drained into the level 2 jugulo-digastric nodes. So this is all about venous drainage. That is very simple. You don't have to remember this. Only remember this sensory supply trigeminal nerve and motor supply by facial nerve. That is more than sufficient. Thank you so much.